Well, we're on the Sludge Factory Sludgecast, and today we're checking in with Simon from German metal band War from a Harlot's Mouth.
Yep.
And Simon was cool enough to check in with us. Simon, how are you today?
Pretty good. Had a chill day. It's Sunday. Did nothing. Just hung out and watched a few X-Files episodes.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's been my day. Pretty easy.
Nice, nice. Well, that's what Sundays are meant for, right?
Yep, exactly.
Well, so you mentioned that you're in Germany right now, which, as we mentioned, is your home country, and you're in Berlin, your hometown.
Yep.
What are you guys preparing in Germany right now?
Well, we're actually just waiting for another tour to start. We have a tour between Christmas and New Year's Eve, so we're just hanging out waiting for that to start and doing nothing much else, actually.
No, it's been a busy time for you guys. I know you guys just released your latest album within the last month or so.
Yep.
Can you talk a little bit about that? First of all, tell us what the title is, and basically.
Yeah, the title is.
Go ahead.
The title is 2010, and yeah, it's been released on October 29th, and yeah, we just had finished a tour as well, entitled Never Say Die Tour with Parkway Drive, and shit tons of other bands such as Muir and Comeback Kid, Bleeding Through. Yeah, it was definitely a huge tour, like huge venues, never played a tour as big as this before, so it's been pretty exciting overall, and yeah, we just got back 2 weeks ago, and there we are.
Cool. Now, what went into this album? Because I've heard it referenced as maybe your heaviest album to date. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't really spent too much time with it. I have listened to most of the tracks. It's definitely a heavier sound, I feel like, from some of your older stuff. Was that a conscious decision on this effort?
Oh yeah, I think so. I mean, I think In Shorts has been a pretty experimental album, and we've been in the mood for that when we've been writing and recording it, but this time we just wanted things to be a little more straightened out and just more like straight to your face, kinda. So, yeah, we just wanted something to be a little more metal, I'd say, because, yeah, I mean, there obviously has been a big hardcore influence on our stuff as well, but, yeah, we did so much stuff with that influence that we wanted to do something more metal this time, so, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great sound. It's definitely got a lot of different elements. There's some jazz elements in there. There's some progressive elements in there. And this is kind of, going back, I know you guys have had some lineup changes, specifically with your lead vocalist, but your sound seems to have progressed kind of substantially over the last few years, since your earlier stuff. Can you talk about what led to that progression? Was there an effort by the band to kind of maybe move away from more of the hardcore sound to maybe more of a traditional metal sound?
I'd say it's just like a pretty natural progression, because, like, for example, when we've been recording and writing our first record, we've been together as a band for like 6 or 7 months maybe, so yeah, it wasn't really. Yeah, we haven't really been grown together as a band too much, but that happened obviously through the last couple of years, and yeah, we just kept doing whatever we wanted to do. But yeah, we've been touring a lot, so I don't know. I'd call it a pretty natural progression.
Very cool.
It just happened, kind of.
Well, I mean, and I always like that about bands, that you can kind of follow the arc of their musical creativity. I mean, bands who say, we just do whatever we want to do. Usually, I find that often means that they have a lot of different influences, and it's hard to pinpoint exactly what their sound is. Can you talk a little bit about some of the band's influences? Like, where do you guys pull from, whether it be other bands or maybe other external influences that you guys pull on?
Yeah, mostly just like, I'd say original extreme music. So like when we started out, like key influences to us have been bands like Dillinger's Kaplan or Ion Dissonance, and yeah, I'd say it's still kind of the same stuff, because we always appreciated bands that sticked out of the normal stuff, kind of. So yeah, like, I mean, yeah, Ion Dissonance or Dillinger's Kaplan is a good example for that. None of us into like stereotype metal stuff too much, I'd say. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're coming from. And yeah, I'd say through the years we opened up to even more kinds of extreme music. Like I've been listening to a lot of weird black metal stuff for the last couple of months, I'd say. And I'd say it definitely left some fingerprints in the writing for the new record as well. So, but generally it's just like extreme music that's kind of sticking out.
Sure. And I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm a huge black metal fan. And
awesome,
I think it's, there's so much exciting things that you can find in it, but with black metal, you kind of have to look for it a little bit harder than maybe some of the other styles of music.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of. I'm not like one of these guys that likes the true and cult type of stuff, like the old school stuff that sounds like garbage. I'm not really into that. I have a appreciation for that, but at the same time, I like music to be at least slightly well produced, so you can listen to what's happening.
Sure.
So you can listen to what's happening. So yeah, you definitely gotta take a really close look to find like good stuff. And I just discovered like earlier this year, there's a huge scene in France actually with like super awesome black metal stuff that's not really stereotype or old school. It's more like forward thinking, progressive stuff.
Sure.
That's what I would like to call it. Yeah.
Are there any particular black metal bands out there today that you find particularly exciting?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of hype on Desper Omega, I guess, but I really dig them because it's like real good stuff. And there's more stuff from France like Gloria or Belly, Archon and Faustus. Sure. Yeah, that type of stuff.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Well, now back to your band sound. I've heard. I know bands don't like labels. I don't think there's a band alive who likes to be categorized as any one particular genre because that pigeonholes you, of course. But I have heard your band mentioned in the same sentence as the famous label of math metal. First of all, do you think that's an accurate? I mean, how do you feel about that label? And for somebody who has no idea what that label means, in your own words, what would you describe math metal as?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'd be comfortable with that label, somewhat comfortable. I'd say it's not really a bad label. I mean, it's a little, it's hard to tell what it really is, but there's like, I just say it's like, I mean, extreme metal with weird time signatures and got a progressive and experimental edge to it. That's what I would, what I'd say.
It seems like such a complex style, and I think that's maybe why it's kind of hard to describe sometimes. What goes into your creative process, your writing process as a band when you're trying to be ambitious about the those type of elements in progressive music?
There's like our drummer, he has like a huge influence on all the drumming, of course, and all the rhythms. So he's like one of the guys that's really pushing it way further. Because whenever I'm writing a riff and I think it's pretty complicated already, I'm going to the rehearsal room and he's like making it even more crazy. So he's like the guy that's really pushing it even more further, I'd say. So yeah, but to me it just comes natural to work with weird time signatures because I mean I've been playing in different bands before, and I was filling in for a hardcore punk band last year in summer, and it was actually more difficult to me to keep that stuff in mind than like more complicated stuff. Cause,
really?
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it was hard to focus on that stuff because it's all kind of the same riffs over and over again, and yeah, it was hard for me to keep stuff in mind, and it's a little bit easier for me to keep stuff in mind that has so many different edges. I don't know why, but.
Well, I mean, would you say that, I mean, has it been, at this point in your career, has it been kind of like instinctive for you to kind of always want to try to be a little bit more complex in your playing?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Cool.
I'd say that.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned your drummer because I think that's kind of one of the requirements of a band that plays that style of music, whatever genre.
Oh yeah,
whatever
most
label you
definitely.
wanna put on it. You got to have a powerful drummer, and
Yeah, that's true, man.
and
Totally.
you guys certainly do. I mean, it's a great lineup. Are you happy with the current lineup? With I know you guys had a vocalist change a few years ago. I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Now that your current vocalist is Nico is in the band, but is this the best lineup of the band?
I'd say so because it works, and it's been working for a while. So yeah, I'd say it's the best lineup we could get.
Okay, so you guys are a German band, and we always hear, I'm from the States, of course. I've never really been abroad too much, but we hear a lot in the States about what the metal scene is like in Europe, and particularly Germany. And,
Yeah.
The word on the street basically is that Germany kicks the United States ass, when it comes to live shows and the fan experience. Can you talk a little bit about the German metal scene and, what does it mean to you to represent your country as a metal band?
Well, I'd say we're not a band that like really represents our country musically because there's not too many stuff around that's like similar to us.
Sure.
There are like some bands, but yeah, I think like the real the huge part of the metal scene in Germany is more like the classical type of metal stuff.
Okay.
So there's like a lot of thrash metal going on and also a big death metal scene. But yeah, I mean, I don't go to shows that often, so I'd say it's kind of difficult. There's like obviously there's a huge following on all the modern hardcore, metalcore type of stuff, but that changes all the time. So
Sure.
like every other 6 months it's different, and other kids, other bands, everything's different again. So it's a little hard to keep track of that. And I think the metal scene is a little more. It sticks to their guns. I would say they stick to their guns because it's like it keeps staying the same, and the shows are still well visited. The same bands are drawing the same amount of kids, and the people just are there. While all of the hardcore metalcore movement changes all the time because it became more of a pop culture thing, I'd say. While the metal scene is still its very own scene.
Right. And that's the one thing that I hear from a lot of bands who've been overseas and to Germany to play shows is that the fans there don't forget. Not necessarily like the hardcore fans or the deathcore fans that you were referencing, but maybe some of the classic metal fans. Those are the groups that are still showing up at all the shows 20 years later.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man.
And buying tens of or 12 shirts at a show or something like that. And I think.
Yeah.
I mean, we have some of that in the States, but it's just something that I would love to experience one day because I think that's kind of like, in my mind, that's like the metal capital of the world,
Yeah.
So back to the, where are some of the places that you have toured or played shows, other countries that you've really enjoyed?
I mean, we've been to the US before with Psyopus in 2008, and it's been an experience, I would say. It's been a long-ass tour, and we've been driving all around the country, and I've never been to the US before, so it was very, very exciting to me. So that was one of the places I just really love to tour at, because it was so exciting. And another place I would really love to go back to again is Russia, actually. We've been playing Moscow and St. Petersburg with Parkway Drive in 2008, and that was really amazing. Like I've never seen kids that stoked about bands. It was pretty damn killer. Like we even had kids lighting themselves on fire in the pit. Like literally, man. They've been lighting up their hoodies,
Wow.
and then there are videos on YouTube about it. If you type in War from a Harlots Mouth in Moscow, I'm sure you will find them. And that was like the most crazy thing I ever experienced on tour. So yeah, I would love to go back there. Like, and I think Eastern Europe is a pretty cool place to play because the kids are like super stoked about tours, and not all the tours are going there. So there's like a more enthusiastic following, I would say, because they're not that spoiled and overfed with all the tours. So
sure.
that's a cool place to go to, and yeah.
That's insane. I mean, we talk a lot about, I try to talk a lot about that, in my podcast and my blogs and whatnot, about the fan experience, because, that's part of it. There's a metal community of fans out there, and everybody kind of groups together and sticks together just because we kind of all like the same thing. I mean, when you tell stories like that, I mean, kids lighting their hoodies on fire, I mean, what other concert would you see something like that happen? I don't think you're going to see that at a Madonna concert anytime soon.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Well, so that's cool. So are there any plans to tour the States again in support of this new album, or is this, you mentioned you're primarily going to be starting out in your home country of Germany. What are the other plans?
Yeah, we're working on a US tour. We just got confirmed for South by Southwest in March, and then we're gonna try and go out on tour for like 4 or 5 weeks. Nothing's like super settled yet, but yeah, there are people working on it, and I hope it works out. So
Sure.
That's the plan for the US, and yeah, we're hopefully gonna do another tour in Europe to support the new records right before the festival season, hopefully, and then we'll see. We'll hope to get back to the US twice next year, but who knows if it works? We'll see, man.
Cool. Well, there's a lot of fans out here in the States that are looking forward to that, so hopefully it works out,
Yeah, hopefully.
If you come to Chicago, I'll come check you guys out for sure, so.
Yeah, we played in Arlington Heights last time.
Oh my God, dude, that's my hometown. That's where I'm from.
Oh really?
Where did you play
it? Where did we play it? Give me a second and I'll let you know.
Was it like a Legion Hall or a...
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm gonna let you know in a second, because
That's so cool. I grew up there, man. That's my hometown. I used to actually, a couple of years ago, I used to work with a buddy of mine. We used to do promotions of local bands, and we used to host some shows at those Legion Halls. So yeah, man, that's part of my scene.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me take a look. I think I'll find it in a second.
Yeah, that's cool.
There we are. Knights of Columbus.
Oh, yeah, I know that hall, man. That's cool. I didn't even know about that. I'll be honest with you, I didn't really know about your band until like 2009.
All right, yeah.
When I first heard about you guys.
Yeah, the tour was pretty small too. It was really small, and the promotion was pretty fucked as well. So.
Who did you guys play?
Yeah, I mean, Psyopus, Fuck the Facts, and Left to Vanish.
Oh, okay.
So it was a fun tour, and actually Arlington Heights was one of the best shows. I would say Arlington Heights was pretty cool. We had a great show in Austin, some good shows in California, but yeah, I mean Arlington Heights has been one of the coolest shows. There actually is like a US tour video documentary on our Vimeo page, and there's definitely some footage of that show, because some drunken old guy cracked his head open at the show.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, man, it was a crazy show. So
I saw I caught the trailer for that documentary. I haven't downloaded the full documentary yet, but I'm definitely going to check that now, especially since my hometown's in there. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. Should be the 4th or 5th episode.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, man.
That just makes me happy hearing that. Yeah. Real quick, I want to wrap up with you. I know you got other stuff to do today, but a couple of bands I wanted to talk to you about. First, I looked back and I saw that in 2009 you guys did a split with the Acacia Strain. We actually just talked to them a few weeks ago, and we're probably going to be playing their podcast too. Are you friends with them? Can you talk about them a little bit?
Not really, actually. It's been like a Japan-only release, and that's been worked out through our label, so we've been stoked, because I actually like some of their stuff, so we've been stoked that we've been on a split with them, but yeah, it's a Japan-only release. We just got like 5 or 6 copies, and yeah, actually never heard back from the label or anything, so yeah, and I actually heard that there's been some complications about those Acacia Strain songs, because, I don't know, something weird was going on. I'm not sure about it.
Oh, well, so that's the record industry for you, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But I would like to tour with them, actually, because
they're definitely a fun bunch of guys, but I mean it's all brutal metal when they're on stage, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like I mean I don't know your band very well, but I mean definitely I've seen some interviews with you guys, and I've seen that like I said I saw a little bit of the documentary. I mean you guys seem like a fun bunch of guys too. You guys are hanging out, going to the beach and stuff like that, and then
Yeah,
just
exactly.
turn it on, turn it up to 11 when you guys get on stage. So I just love that.
Yeah,
One more question. I don't know if you have any interest in Crowbar at all, the band from...
oh yeah, man, a lot actually.
Awesome. Can you... we're going to be doing a show about Kirk Winstein and Crowbar in a couple weeks, and I'd love to collect some quotes. Can you talk for a minute about Kirk and Crowbar and what you think about them?
Well, actually, I remember seeing them on a festival in 2004, and it actually got released on a DVD, so I found myself on a DVD. It's been the Wistful Force Festival here in Germany, and I think I got to know Crowbar through a Metal Hammer sampler CD, and I was pretty damn stoked about it, so I bought some of their records and really love them to date, man. It's like actually one of my most favorite bands ever.
I hear so many people say that, and I agree with you, by the way. They're in, like, my top 5 favorite bands ever. And I don't know if it's because they've kind of been a little stagnant in the last few years, and they haven't, Kurt's been doing the side projects and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's just amazing to me, though, because they're not a band that you hear about that often, but then when you talk to other bands, like, almost everybody I talk to is like, oh, love Crowbar. One of my favorite bands, got into them and just never stopped, Are there any particular favorite Crowbar moments, Crowbar albums that you really got into?
I think my favorite song's gotta be The Lasting Dose, and I pretty much love all the stuff they put out. Not like the earliest stuff was a little too fast for me maybe, and I was too young as well, so what I really like about them is that there's a lot of soul in their music, and that's what I love about them. It's like emotional music, but honest emotional music. I just like it, man. It's good stuff.
I feel the same way you do, man. That's awesome. So one last question. I mean, you're not really a new band. You've been around for 5 years, but I would say that you might still be relatively unknown to some fans around the country. How are you guys kind of trying to embrace what's available to you now to kind of promote your band? I mean, there's social networking nowadays. There's the internet. There's thousands of different ways for bands to kind of get exposure. How do you guys go about tackling that challenge?
Well, I mean, when we started out, we've been working MySpace quite a lot, but obviously MySpace was suffering from a downfall, so it's a little bit difficult nowadays because we used to have so many MySpace friends, and we've been a band that never added any people, so we would let people add us, and I mean the good thing about this is that you would think that people just add you if they care about you, but MySpace is shut, so it's a little difficult nowadays. I mean, we have all that stuff like Facebook and all that, but never really got into it because we never really thought that MySpace is gonna lose so much of its potential, and I mean, I'm a little overwhelmed actually by all the stuff you can do, and it's pretty
It can be a challenge, especially when there's it just seems like there's so many different bands popping up nowadays.
Exactly,
And that's kind of I mean that's my blog and podcast is very, very small in comparison, but I mean that's kind of one of the things I try to do is spotlight some of the bands out there that you might not necessarily see, so hopefully we can get you guys some hits, but we'll see what happens.
Hopefully, man.
Yeah. Well, listen, Simon, thank you so much for hanging out today and giving us a great interview. We got a lot of great stuff, and
thank you, man.
Yeah, is there anything else you'd like to wrap up by saying to the fans of War from a Harlot's Mouth?
I just love everyone to check out the new records. We are pretty happy about it, and think it's the best stuff we put out yet. So we just hope people like it, and if gonna keep everyone posted about our plans to come over to the States, and hopefully it will happen.
Very cool, yeah, and I will be going to WFHAHM, sorry. I will be going to your site later today to check out that documentary, so that's going to be some cool stuff, too. So,
dude.
Yeah. Well, listen, again, man, thank you so much for doing the interview. Appreciate it, and love the band, man. Keep going. Best of luck to you guys in 2011.